How you doing, everybody? This is Max Farrell from DexFXMarkets.com. Today is the 12th of March, 2021, and this is your weekly wrap-up. All right, so we're joined by Christophe Gagne and Thor Rafferty. How you guys doing today?
Just fine. Good week.
Yeah, great week.
Yeah, it's a good week.
Yeah, I think, and everybody's like, jump to the numbers, jump to the numbers. Okay, I'll jump to the numbers. All right, I get it. Hang on a second. Here we go. All right, so our week for here on the 12th, it started on the 7th, was $210. Now, as Thor knows and as Chris knows, CVG and all that kind of good stuff, why is this a good thing that we have found a groove? When we were back testing, we were looking at it was like $500-600 a week and all that kind of stuff, and we were looking at really high numbers, and then something happened just recently where we noticed that all the numbers when they produced live from back testing to live was about 30 something percent differential, right? So it was consistent each week that we back tested. We looked, the live test results were about 30% different. So it was like almost exactly. So when we had the loss last week in the NFP, it was an NFP week. It was as well 30% different. Why this was good was because we knew our system that if it could yield out consistent results, that we knew how to back test and see the results almost prior to the week happening. But what was really good for us was that they were all showing the same thing, like that $500 to $800 a month, $800 a week, every single week. And when we back tested previously for the NFP, it hadn't had a bad week or a month, if you will, in over 6 months that we were testing. Why is that so important to us now? Can any of you tell me?
Well, it demonstrates the consistency of the system.
Exactly.
We want it to be not spectacular one week and dismal the next week. We want it to be right in the middle where it's consistently
right.
Producing at a regular amount.
Mm-hmm. And that we could prepare ourselves that if we did have a bad week, it wasn't a catastrophe week, right?
Well,
like I was saying last.
Swings.
That's right. Like I was saying with you last week in a week, in the NFP week, Thor, was that I'm okay if it loses up to what it would normally make in a week, right? If it loses up to that point, because then I know we got a good profit margin for a month, and I could still work with, say, $400 or $500 per month as a possibility every once in a while. But the most that we're seeing that our system can pull in per one contract is anywhere between $800 to $1,000 a month, $800 to $1,200. There's a couple months that had that possibility in it. So that's really important for us because there's a few things that most of you have to know. Is Dex Delta Signals the best product we have? I'll let Chris answer that. Is Dex Delta Signals the most profitable system we have? I should say that.
Well, not necessarily. You have the Dexatomic X, I believe, is the best product that we have.
The Dexatomics. Yeah, the Dexatomics.
Correct.
Yeah, the Dexatomics is the best one. It produces the most yield. And that's where most people are like, well, Max, why doesn't your automated system do that? Because nothing replaces the human element in good trading. There's somebody here in the room too, David M., who is clearly a better trader than an auto system. And those things only come with time. They come with experience. They come with the willingness to be able to do that work. We've said this in other videos. This past week has me feeling, okay, because what have we made so far in the last 4 weeks? We won't just talk about the month. In the month, we're sort of just a little bit up for the month of March, right? But let's just look at the past 4 weeks. The previous week before this, here, let me get to, I'm trying to move this thing around here. So there's the NFP week. That was last week. There is 2 weeks before that, so 254. And then before that, 284, right? So combined, we think we get the 4 week total combined here, 593.50. And why is this so cool is because that's all one contract. That's just one contract. This isn't simulated data in here. This is actual data. This is what, besides maybe one or two trades, depending on who missed what, we had some servers go down on people. Some people had servers go down for them. Some people had updates. Some people were like, I'm only going to do L1s, or I'm only going to play the Euro USD. Whatever you have done, the worst that this could do is really a mix of between everybody and who's had certain issues or what have you. The best that it could do per one contract is sitting here, right? My wife's account sort of emulates almost this to a T. I think she may have like $1.50 more or something more in here that she got into a trade that we missed last week or the other week or whatever it was. But she has a little bit more for her 4 week combo. Mine is a little bit more because I have a hybrid in between two things. I have a hybrid between the automated and, of course, a lot of manual trading for myself. And I love going after the OTMs, the out of the monies, right? And I'm also trading before the NFP. I was trading 3 contracts. I lost some last week, and I almost came down to it. So in the beginning of the week, I was doing really well. I jumped up to 3 contracts again. Next week, and I made enough money this week to actually jump up to 4 contracts for next week. So this past week is such a good week for us because it tells us something. Is that one, our simulated data for back testing shows consistency in the numbers from what our live is or what our forward testing is. And that's really important because now we can start to rely on that a little bit more. So if you're watching this, maybe you're a customer or a previous client or what have you, or maybe you just found us on YouTube, you have to ask yourself, if you're asking yourself, you're saying to yourself right now, hell, that's only $210, you can't make very money, then you have to learn the relationship with CVG. But at the most, what could you turn this into per week? Say an average of 250 on winning weeks, 1 contract 250, 2 contracts 500, 4 contracts 1,000. You see where that's going? So how much could you make per month if you were... Now, I have a philosophy. I don't ever want to trade more than 10 contracts at any one time. I don't need that much money to be on the line every single time. And God forbid I'm ever watching the thing move, with 10 contracts on it. $450 possibility of a win to a $556 loss. Or 556, right? I think I did that right. Something like that, $560 loss. So, and again, that may not seem like a lot of money when you have $10,000 in your account. I have 19. So I know there's a lot of speculation in there. Like, what do we do with that? How do we get to 10 contracts? We got to get there very slowly. We don't just want to throw it all at once because we got to prepare our mind and body and our trader's mind to do it. All right. So does anybody in the panel here, because we're joined by David Menning, Christophe Gagne, and Thor Rafferty, you guys have anything you want to contribute for this past week's for the results?
Yeah, if you take a look at CVG and you take in the order of difficulty, you may think that the goal is the easiest, but that's actually the most difficult, to make sure that you establish a goal for yourself and what it is that you want. The next, like you were describing here, is consistency.
Right.
As Thor had mentioned, don't want it bouncing all over the place. So the next most difficult thing is getting consistency. If you're confident, you're getting that consistency. And actually, then at that particular point, like you were mentioning with various contracts, the easiest thing to do is just add volume. So in the order of your goal setting, and each person has his own goal setting method or an actual number, things of that nature. Then the next is consistency, and the easiest thing is volume. That's all.
Awesome. Thor, you have anything you want to add?
That pretty well sums it up. Our goal is to consistently grind out profit every week. It's not going to happen every week, but we don't swing expenses, and we allow our accounts to build up and increase the volume.
Absolutely. I'm strolling through some of the result pages here for this week. There's Jerry's overall value there's 210, so we traded exactly that. There's almost to a T with 25% more. Jeff has always got to come in higher than us. What's going on with that? Where's that 25 cents at? So Jeff made 210. It looks like a 211.25. So somebody made us. So now Jorge needs to go 211.25. Okay, so there's two contracts. Tim O, big job, buddy. Thanks a lot for contributing. 422, sweet week. Running G, looks like you got in a little late, missed a couple of things in here. Profits plus 68. I don't know what that would yield that for. So, okay, one contract.
His computer might have shut down, I think.
Oh, yeah, I remember, yeah.
It shut down either due to a windstorm, and somebody else, including me, had an update right in the middle of the week and messed things up a little bit. But that probably explains the variance on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was, let's see. Oh, my wife did 210 plus or something like that. I did 870 because I had some OTMs in there. So it was a good week for me. Made up for my money last week. I had a big loss last week when we first got hit by that windstorm because I had like 3 or 4 contracts on. So, but it came back and it took it. So it did good. Thor, what did you do this week?
I did 266.75.
Nice.
Somehow I ended up with a fill a little better, so I ended up some change in there. It was 15 wins and 7 losses, 68.18%.
Wow.
As I said, my computer did update itself. The good news is it updated, and so I think statistically we would have had 8 losses, so I only took 7 losses. And so sometimes you win, even if your computer shuts down on you.
Right. Here we got Evan. We got Evan's little chart here that he's done. He's very proud of this chart. Pretty wild. He's really good at it. Profit for, I think he's been. Well, again, starting off in the very beginning, he was only trading 1 or 2 contract or one contract on 1 or 2 pairs. Was kind of found in his middle in there. He's been trading for 7 weeks. He's up, looks like 420 in there. I think he invested. He started with 300. Chip in a chair. That's what he did. Chip in a chair. There it is, right there. He's up now to 720. So yeah, he made 420 so far, and that's a true run for the money there. So. Great job, Evan. Thanks a lot for sharing in there. I think for most of you, David, are you able to come out and say what you did this week?
Yes, sir. I'm here. On my Zdan, I did like everybody else. The 15 and 8.
Oh, okay.
For 65%, $211. Live, I did 17 and 5.
Jeez.
That's 3 contracts, so that's 1359.
Are you kidding me? Nice work. Sweet.
It's interesting that I had almost the same amount of trades, but they were different than the Zdan called out.
Sure.
Some of them were the same, but
right.
Some of them were different, but
some of them were different. Well, you've done you've gone through boot camp times 10, and you've learned, you're war ridden, and you have learned how to look at the trades and validate them and work with them personally. That's why I say, I'm not trying to make a system that like Dave, everybody's like, well, can't you just make a trade like David Menning does? I was like, no, I can't. I can't create that human element that just gives him the experience and knowledge to be able to run with that. And you've definitely shown that to us, and which is really good because David's not the only one. I made 870, and again, I'm also making the systems and programming and doing a lot of stuff. My wife has a real estate business, so there's a lot for me as an owner doing. David has more control, more time over his as well. So, I'm always happy to see when, David's one of the partners here for the company, made partner here just recently, but he started off as a client, somebody who just found us on the internet. So it's not like these are people that are in here, been trading for 40 years or 30 years. These are people who came here to learn this process and have mastered it. right? Myself and Chris and Thor and Paul and everybody else who have just been working very hard to make this thing work. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing. It's been a awesome week. It's really setting the things for me to see that we are on the right path. We've hit this really good with the Dex Delta signals. I can't wait to this next week as an announcement. So this is just a weekly wrap up, not just for signals, but for the company as well. I'm going to be, as they say, Max is going dark. I'm going to be working with Matt on the Xenon stuff, but also with myself learning some new coding systems to put into the Dex Atomics. So the Dex Atomics is going to get a little bit of a push to start using some Nadex data that comes over. So we're on the actual charts themselves have statement levels that we'll be working with. We'll also be testing out after it's built for about 3 weeks before we release it. Only because I want to make sure I'm not going to take anything out what we've already started and we have consistency on right now. So I want to make sure as our current system runs that a new system is not, it's something that's been tweaked, works before we release it to everybody out there in the world. Okay. So keep in mind, this is a slow journey now. We're on the track. We're in the right area. We're on the right path, however you want to say it. And we're ready to commit now to one thing: patience and discipline. We've already gotten to the consistency now. Now we have to add volume. But in order to add volume, please keep in mind, it's not just as simple as just going, yeah, let me put on 10 contracts. Follow the method of the incremental crawl. That's the only thing that'll protect you financially and mentally. Because if you go in there and you start throwing contracts all over the place, up and down, up and down, up and down, you're going to mess with the results too much. That consistent value that you have in incremental crawl is what's going to get you to 10 contracts. And that if you have a loss, you're not going to be worrying about it. As long as we have the same results each week and we work hard to keep those results steady. There's Ron and Jerry and David that are in that data division. They work very hard to keep that information solid. All right, I've been blabbering on enough. Thank you, gentlemen, for sticking around with me here on the 12th of March for our weekly wrap-up. I'm Max Farrell. This is DexFXMarkets.com. I look forward to seeing you next time. And as always, trade well.